I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Thank you for listening to Your Working Life, my podcast series featuring thought leaders in the career and personal growth arena. You spend a significant portion of your life at work, so I'm on a mission to provide you with tools, inspiration, and resources so you can enjoy your career and love your life. And I'm very excited to welcome my special guest to the show today, Verlia Brown. Verlia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
And I'm delighted that you're with me. We're going to dive into a wonderful conversation about your book, My Journey on Becoming a Nurse, Contribution to the Nursing Profession. But I want to tell the listening audience about you first, Verlia. You are an RN. You also earned your master's degree, and you were born in Kingston, Jamaica. And you immigrated to Brooklyn in 1967, where you enrolled in the Kings County Hospital Center School of Nursing. In 1974, you began your nursing career in an intensive care unit. And over your 38-year career at Kings County Hospital Center in Brooklyn, you completed your bachelor's and master's degrees and took on a number of leadership roles, including president of the New York City HHC Executive Council of Nurse Practitioners and the first New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation nurse to serve on the American Nurses Association Board of Directors. And you were also a delegate to the ANA's United Nurses Association. And you're now retired from nursing. You retired in March of 2012, and you're a member of Sigma Theta Tau International and Nurses House. But I'm so excited because you wrote this terrific book. And as we know, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is sharing that the growth in the nursing profession is going to grow exponentially between now and 2022, over 20% growth. So that's something that careerists need to think about. And I would like to ask you, Verlia, why should nurses be part of their professional association?
The reason why they should be a part of the professional association is because they have a lot of opportunities to be more involved in the nursing profession. Being a member of the organization, they're able to run for offices, serve on board of directors, be a part of the committee that helps to shape policy that affects healthcare and nursing in the country.
Got it.
Also, they have the leadership skills to go out and teach the other nurses to become involved in their association.
That makes sense. So with this shortage of qualified nurses happening between now and 2022, how will that really impact the delivery of healthcare in the future? It seems to be a booming career industry right now.
It might impact it somewhat. And the reason is because the baby boomers who are in the nursing field, they are retiring
Ah,
and they need to get people to replace them. However, there are a lot of people entering the workforce, especially for nursing. They apply to the nursing schools, whether it's the colleges or the local schools, but they are not able to get into the nursing programs because they do not have a lot of faculty members.
I see. I
So
see.
if they would increase, the amount of faculty in the colleges, then, you will have the complement of nurses to take care of the aging population.
Verlia, what I think is so fascinating, the baby boomers are retiring, and of course, we have this Generation Y, which we also call millennials. So these are men and women that are below 32 years of age. Are they attracted to the nursing profession?
Yes, they are. And for this reason is that they know nursing or anybody entering the healthcare industry is going to have a safe, secure job,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So that's one of the driving forces behind it. It's not like when I went into nursing school, I always wanted to be a nurse to, you know, to help.
Yeah.
These folks do help, but there's a difference when I went into nursing school than now. I have the fire in me when I went into nursing school. Maybe some of these people have the fire, but it's not as passionate, I believe.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's an interesting phenomenon with the younger professionals. And do you think that they need to be ready for certain things in order to thrive in the nursing profession that may be different now than they were when you started?
When I started, everything was done on paper.
Right,
We did not have all the high tech, tools and systems they have in place. So, this is becoming, a challenge, because everything you document, you have to go online. Medications are now, done online, so they have to have the know how, how to, embrace the age of computer and high
right,
technology.
right. And do you think that higher education is delivering healthcare training differently because of technology?
I believe so. And the reason for it is that when you go into a hospital system, everything is all computerized. And if you have, I believe, the 4-year degree, you would get the training so you'll be able to best cope. You know, I believe the BSN, the graduates, they are more prepared. They have more analytic involvement with themselves. They know how things are done instead of just doing it,
Right,
and say, this is how I was taught.
got it.
A higher degree give you the ability to think it out and
Yes.
see what happens and, put it all together.
So those analytical skills are extremely important. And Verlia, did you have mentors when you were coming up as a nurse? And if so, did this change your career path?
Okay, I had many mentors, but my favorite mentor was Maggie Jacobs. She was involved in the local nurse practitioner unit at the county, and she got me involved with, the nursing politics. So I grew up from being a delegate in the hospital system. Then I went to the state and then to the American Nurses Association. And to clarify what you said earlier, I was the first staff nurse, not the first nurse from New York to serve on the board, the first staff nurse. And the
Wow.
ANA considered staff nurse as anybody who does direct care. You could be a nurse practitioner or a nurse anesthetist. That's their definition.
I see. I
Right.
see.
So, with that said, she groomed me for me to become a part of the bigger picture, which was the president of the New York State Nurses Association.
Wow.
And I was not the only one she groomed. She groomed many of us.
That's
And,
wonderful.
we have gone on to, achieve and do wondrous works for nurses.
I think it's terrific that you had the benefit of such an extraordinary mentor. Are you now able to pay it forward and mentor other young nurses in the profession?
Yes, I have. And since I retired in 2012, I've gotten many calls at home, even from my past bosses,
Wow.
asking me questions, about nursing, about issues that affect their practice. And I gladly help them. Sometimes I genuinely or, jokingly say, I have to charge you guys a consultant fee. And
Right.
I just wrote an article about advocacy in nursing, and I sent it to all their emails. And the emails that I did not have, I sent it, I text them and told them to read it so this would help them.
Good for
But
you.
I'm still involved, with them.
That's great. That's great. So, Verlia, you have such experience, and it's really impressive to think about the breadth and depth of your career as a nurse. So, what advice would you give the next generation who are considering a career in nursing? These are the rookies. What advice do you have for them?
That they have to have a passion for it. They have to be compassionate. They have to love people, because if you don't like people or love people, it does not make sense.
Right.
And you have to have a lot of dedication. You have to be able to take a lot of criticisms, because don't forget you're in training and you get criticized in the classroom, and then when you come into the clinical setting, whoever is giving you orientation, they're going to criticize you too. And it's not a bad thing, but some people are thin skinned and they take criticism as a negative. So that's one of the things they have to. And they have to have a lot of discipline and
Mm,
sacrifice, because nursing is not as easy as people make it to be. And seeing that they want to make the BSN as entry into the practice, the studying is very hard, because when I went to nursing school, sometimes we took courses with doctors. And even as a registered nurse, we do take classes with them and we switch roles and what have you. So you have to have a knowledge base. It's not just, adding one and one together to give you two, but you have to have some good foundation, high school skills. You
yeah.
can't be some person who lack, basic education foundation that wants to go into nursing, because we are dealing with life and death situation, and we have to train the best qualified, people to take care of the nation.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
Verlia, you're retired now, right? And you wrote this incredible book, My Journey on Becoming a Nurse. What encouraged you to write this book? How did this all start?
um every time I would go to work, and I would tell the nurses to do something, because I was the nurse manager for all the critical care units, which was 40 beds on the 4 to 12 shift. And I would go in and give them instructions, and they would, be honest, give me some lips, or don't do it as swiftly as I asked. And I jokingly said, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to talk about all you guys.
Oh, and now
And
you
they
did.
said, okay, Miss Brown, go ahead. I think you should write a book. So after I retired, I said, okay, I'm going to write the book, but I'm not going to write the book about them.
Yeah.
I'm going to write the book about me, because it's my journey. And I have put few scenarios in my book, but I made it centered on me, because I did not want to write a negative book, so that's how it became into being, me wanting to tell my story.
Good for you.
Because from I was in Jamaica, I always wanted to be a nurse. And I had applied to the School of Nursing there, the University of the West Indies, and I was called for the interview and did the test. And they were so stone faced that they asked me a question: who was the Minister of Health? And I couldn't remember his name. So they didn't select me. And, I wasn't upset. I was like 15, 16 years old,
Yeah.
trying to venture on this journey. And I said, well, I don't blame them, because if I can't remember who is the Minister of Health is, what business do I have to want to become a nurse? And also, I applied to go to England and it didn't work out. And then I applied to a second nursing school in Jamaica, and I got called for the interview, but I was already in New York and I was not going back home.
I understand. You found your new home. So
Mhm.
speaking of which, Verlia, what are your future plans? Are you enjoying retirement? How's this new world for you?
Well, I do enjoy retirement. I don't stay home and look at the walls. I've become like a world traveler.
Very
Last
good.
year I went to the Holy Land, and this year I'm going to Ireland. And I'm doing a lot of volunteering in my church.
Very nice.
There is a library in the church, so I work in there because I did that when I was in Jamaica, and I'm an altar server, which they call it a sacristan. And now I'm becoming to be a Eucharistic minister to give communion, to the
Good for you.
congregation,
Good for
and
you.
also to take it to the sick who are homebound.
Well, that's wonderful. So your journey continues now in retirement. Verlia, tell us how we can buy your book, which is called My Journey on Becoming a Nurse.
My book is available at online at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or Exlibris.com.
Fantastic. And I want to also share that you have a terrific website called My Journey on Becoming a Nurse.com. And Verlia is also searchable and can be found on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Verlia, thank you so much. What a joy to have you on. I wish you great success with the book. And thank you for sharing your wisdom and expertise with me today.
Okay, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. And I want to thank our listeners for tuning into Your Working Life, where my goal is to help you design your career destiny so it doesn't happen by default. True career and life satisfaction is possible, and it's time to embrace what you love doing so you can do more of it. I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Take good care.